ابتدا مایلم ذکر خیلی کنم از
Firstly, I would like to say a few words to commemorate Mrs. Asma Jahangir,
در زمینه
who provided invaluable services towards improving the human rights situation across the world,
گزارشگر ویژه حقوق بشر از صرف
and in particular in my country.
دوستان عزیز
She was United Nations Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Iran.
دموکراسی در همه جا
My dear friends, unfortunately, we have been witnessing how democracy has taken
می‌بینیم که
a backward step everywhere, particularly in Southern Asia. We are witnessing how civil society is getting weaker and weaker. Human rights activists and independent journalists have been subjected to all kinds of restrictions. They are imprisoned or killed. And why are they doing all this? If we look for the roots of these issues, we will come across the weakness of democracy. The weakness of democracy stems from the fact that some assume that democracy is a result of victory in free elections. In other words, the majority who wins the elections gives itself the right to govern as it wishes, whereas that should not be the case. Let us not forget that many dictators came to power through democracy or the votes of the people. One such example is in your region. Ayatollah Khomeini came to power by virtue of popular vote, yet subsequently embarked on killing his opponents in such a manner the repercussions of which are still being felt by Iranian society. The majority that gains power has no right to ignore the rights of the minority. Governments do not gain legitimacy solely through the ballot box. Rather, a government's legitimacy is gained through both the ballot box and respect for human rights. Only a combination of both these factors lends a government legitimacy. A government with such legitimacy must do its utmost to protect its policies and objectives in keeping with human rights. In some countries in South Asia, including certain parts of Iran and also Pakistan, we see weaknesses in this regard. Laws in Pakistan are probably, to some extent, better. But prevailing traditions, which are observed in the name of tribal customs, are in contravention of human rights, in particular women's rights. Governments must take resolute action to deal with such a situation. Freedom of speech is very important. Governments must attach importance to freedom of speech. Journalists must be free to expose government embezzlements and violations of human rights. Unfortunately, in many countries, freedom of speech is coming under increasing restrictions, a phenomenon that is rife in my country, Iran.
پاکستان هم
And I imagine it is to some extent applicable to Pakistan too.
بیان نیست. مسئله
Furthermore, people should be free to choose their own faith and belief.
آزاد باشن
In many Islamic countries,
خودشون رو انتخاب بکنن.
a Muslim is not allowed to convert to another religion.
بسیاری از کشورهای
I am a
اسلامی
Muslim
یک مسلمان
and proud of my religion.
مذهبش رو عوض بکنه.
However, everyone should enjoy the right to choose their own religion.
و به دین خودم افتخار میکنم. اما
The punishment for apostasy in my country is very
این
heavy,
حق رو برای همه قائل بود.
as it is in many Islamic
دین
countries.
خودشون رو انتخاب
In
بکنن.
Islamic countries, rights of women are largely ignored through misinterpretation
در
of
کشور
Islam.
من مجازات
Even where there are laws in a country
همچنین در
in support of women, they seek to ignore them in the name of tribal customs.
با سوء برداشت از اسلام
We are witnessing the multitude of obstacles faced by women's rights activists and feminists.
حتی اگر در
All these factors contribute to the weakening of civil society.
به نام رسوم قبیله‌ای
They rob people of the courage
سعی میکنن
to stand up to authoritarian regimes.
مدافعین
That is why democracy takes a step backwards.
با مشکلات فراوانی
We
مواجه
see
هستند.
significant progress in the sphere of technology.
تمام اینها باعث تضعیف جامعه مدنی میشه.
Yet such progress is not seen in social
مقابل حکومت‌های خودکامه را از مردم سلب میکنه.
and particularly political
و
domains.
به همین دلیل
However, such difficulties should not make human rights activists
یک گام به عقب برمی‌داره.
and civil rights activists despair. The harder the path,
در امور مربوط
the
به
greater our
تکنولوژی و
resolve.
پیشرفت‌های
We shall
چشمگیری
strive even harder to make the world a better place for our children.
اجتماعی و مخصوصا سیاسی این پیشرفت ملاحظه
I wish you all every success and strength.
و البته این گونه مشکلات نبایستی باعث دلسردی مدافعان حقوق بشر و فعالین مدنی بشه. هرچه راه دشوارتر اراده ما بیشتر تلاش خواهیم کرد دنیایی بهتر برای فرزندانمان بسازیم. موفق و پایدار بمانید.